What's good, everybody? This your boy D Money hitting y'all with a new episode of Drip Talk. We're gonna get into 5 things to stand out as a top designer in the game as far as fashion, even things that you could take into different industries, just so that way you can get to the top. Just for those that are interested in doing interviews with us on a lot of fashion, definitely tap in. DM me right now. Get your brand out there, so that way you can definitely start advertising your brand. We'll also do a brand assessment if needed. Just DM me. The pricing, I'll let you know in the DM. It won't be that much, but it's just something just to get you started, get us started, and everybody feeling the love. So definitely, check us out, tap in with me, get your brand right. So that way you can get the proper exposure that you need in order to keep growing. We just want to keep, building our community, so that way everybody, gets the proper love, gets their voices heard, and So we back with it. Now, the information I'm here to give you as far as the 5 things you need to stand out as a top designer is things that will help you personally and also help your brand as well. And the mindset that you have when you are creating products, when you are putting the products together, and also helping you to better understand your customer as well. The first and foremost thing that you need to be focused on is having a thirst for knowledge. By nature, trends are always evolving. You'll need to understand past and present trends in order to create your own, and that requires a love for learning. In order to understand that, what comes next in fashion, you'll need to know and have a clear understanding of what has been in the past for fashion. You'll need to immerse yourself in the history of fashion and influential designers. Also, since you'll always need to improve upon your skills, you must understand your quest for knowledge will never be complete. This is an ongoing process. You'll always have to do your research each and every day, each and every moment that you're coming up with something new. You know what I'm saying? For me, when I first started putting the idea of this brand together, I spent a whole year in the library itself, on the internet, reading different books, even talking to, different people I might have ran into in different industries, like, the movie industry, with different, mid-level actors. I have an aunt, cousin, godmom, that is actually a consultant. She runs her own business. I actually, stayed with her for about 3 months in New York, where I learned, how to run a podcast, how to run a business, the day-to-day of running a business. Then on top of that, I had an internship with James Baldwin, who is a tailor down in South Philly. And I spent time with him for about 4 or 5 months. And he was telling me some of these same things that, are in the industry, things that, deal with fashion, in the business sense. So you always are going to be learning, and it's better to have a mentor, that you can learn from, or mentors that can mentor you on these different things, so that way you can constantly learn something, so that way you can implement it into what you're doing, or even learn things so that way you don't make mistakes. Number 2 is having a great sense of creativity. Now, creativity doesn't necessarily mean that this is your style and preferences, because those you can always develop, and they'll always be changing as you come up with new collections, as you see new fashion trends, and etc. But the whole thing about it is, with creativity, it means that you have a distinct point of view. A highly developed artistic eye is a must for a career in fashion design. It helps you stand out, number 1. It helps you to see products before they're even made. And then you can also see the aesthetics on different people, whether it's size, body shape, etc. So for me, that's just something I always had. Even when I was just wearing clothes, I had a great sense of, what I was gonna put on, how things, match for me. Not necessarily how things match, because a lot of times people have a very simple way of matching things and putting clothes together, and sometimes it doesn't even look good. But for me, it was just something that was just a natural gift that I've always had. And I thank my mom, because when I was a kid, she always, dressed me like nice. I was always dressed in like suits, more of a formal look than most kids. And even when it came to, where street fashion started to become one of a, more of a big thing, I was wearing, Jordans, Nikes, never wore anything from Payless, barely wore hand-me-downs if it came from her. So, it's like I was around those things. It helped me to cultivate that creativity. Number 3, drive. Now, if you're gonna be a fashion designer, matter of fact, if you're gonna be an entrepreneur, forget just being a fashion designer. If you're gonna be an entrepreneur, you gotta have one of the ultimate drives. Like, you gotta have a willingness to win, regardless if it's just, getting the top of your industry or just you wanna be the best in the world. Like, you gotta have a will to create, to, keep things going on a day-to-day basis, even if you don't want to. It's just like how Kevin Hart said, if the sun rises 7 days a week and it doesn't care about how it feels or, how it looks, it's just gonna rise each and every day. Or even if it's not gonna appear to us, it's still gonna rise and, come down at the proper time each and every day. So when it comes to your drive, creative careers like fashion designers are not made for those who give up easily. The most successful designers are those who are highly driven individuals. Although fashion design has its glamorous moments, you got to have that grit for the for the glam. You have to have hard work, put in long hours, work well with others, and continue to develop your craft throughout your entire career. If you aren't a highly motivated individual, you won't be able to achieve the level of success that you have in your mind. For me, personally, I've always had that drive regardless of what I was doing. Even when I was doing sales, like when I actually learned what I was doing, people automatically thought I was top tier just because I knew what I was doing. Like, once I know something, like, you're not gonna stop me, bro. It's just that simple. And you gotta have that same drive as well. Like, once you know what you're doing, you gotta go at that joint 1,000 miles a minute. Like, and that's just how I roll. So I speak the same energy for you. Like, you gotta have that type of energy, that type of confidence in yourself and your abilities. And the best way to develop that drive is to practice. Practice in your own time, whether it be recording videos, to help market your products, practicing, sewing, practicing, designing, whether it just be drawing different things out, different, ideas that come to mind. That was something I did in the beginning before I even started putting out clothes and products. Even before I put out my first collection, I would just draw different things just to better my skills at sketching and things of that sort. Number 4, a business sense. If you don't have a business sense, like, you designing is not even going to matter, because the biggest thing for any business is marketing. If nobody knows who the hell you are, they're not going to know what you're making and the type of message that you're trying to put out into the world. So while careers in fashion require you to be highly creative, you also need to have business knowledge. You'll need to be able to manage a budget, implement marketing strategy, be adept at coming up with sales concepts that will allow you to make your mark and make a living. While learning how to become a fashion designer might sound glamorous, it is the business skills that are also an essential part of any fashion education or any fashion business. So I definitely suggest that it is important that you first and foremost, like I said earlier in the video, get a mentor. Get a mentor that is in business or if you know fashion designers that are already in business doing well, doesn't mean that they gotta be, 7 figures, 8 figures. As long as they getting about, 5, 6 figures, they can tell you what the hell to do with your brand. So definitely learn that knowledge. Even go to the library, read some books about business, and it will help you immensely as far as learning how to market your business, learning how to sell your products, and learning to understand your target audience. So that way you can build the community that you need in order to keep going. Number 5, and last but not least, you have to have your own wave and understand your niche. Now, niche is a very key thing when you are putting out, a new business, because the niche is going to create the target audience. See, for us, we're a little bit different with our approach because we're not trying to sell you something. We're trying to actually inspire you to live the lives that you're supposed to be living, getting to your purpose, getting to your ultimate best self. So that was our focus as far as what we were doing. But you have to have your own wave. Understanding your target audience, having a style different from others, along with creativity to make your style be relatable to your audience, and making your niche stand out is very important, because if you don't know your customer, you won't sell anything. If you don't understand what people want, what people will need, when different trends are coming out, when different waves of clothing is coming out, you won't stand out, and it will take long for people to actually receive the message that you're trying to put out. And that's something that we deal with. So that's our curse. But at the same time, people are going to receive it eventually, as long as you put it out the right way. And that's all that matters. But you got to have your own wave. You got to have business sense. You got to have a drive that is unmatched, and thirst for knowledge and creativity. Those 5 things are very important. We're going to get in more depth with these things on our podcast, A Lot of Fashion. We're even going to talk about some of the all-time greats like Virgil Abloh, which is called Coco Chanel, the Versace family, Herb de Givenchy, and some others. But those all-time greats carved out their own niche, looked at the problems that were in clothing and how they were produced, changed the game completely as far as how women fashion was, primarily early, in the late 1800s, early, 1900s, and then, going into the late, 1900s, they started focusing more on menswear as well, stemming from, more formal to more casual and sportswear. So those are the type of things that you got to know. You got to know your history. Even though I hate my dad to the utmost, one thing he always told me was you got to know your history before you go anywhere. So it's very important, if you want to be an all-time great, that you respect the greats in order, and learn their paths and how they got there. Because that's going to help you to distinguish how you can implement something new, but also take some of the things that they've already put out and, bring in something totally different, a whole new wave and style, and still touch the, customers that you need in order to, like the message said, keep it living. So keep visualizing your purpose, plan, strategize, and execute, and everything will come together perfectly, all in time. As far as our new releases, as far as our brand apparel, we got denim jackets with the fur in it. We got kangaroo jackets. We got polo tees, polo t-shirts. We got long sleeves coming out this Friday. I believe that's the 23rd. So definitely stay tuned for that. We also gonna have yoga pants with the pockets. And also, we also gonna have some kid apparel coming, not this week, but next week. But we will have, youth caps